Well, welcome to the Data Loop. Right, we've got a transfer bid for Pal Mai. It's an interesting one. Because I don't think this player has any future for our club, but they're keeping all their speed for this season. We're not going to extend their contract. We will just lose them. But I do wonder, just in the context of how much we have been struggling to buy. I don't know if struggling, but just better players, like at this point. That makes sense. We probably just won't sell him. It'd be different if it was millions, but it's not. So I think we're just going to hold on to him. Like a semi-handy player that can play wide midfield with 91 speed is just not going to be... He does have deficiencies in passing and tackling and various other things for us, but still, point remains. I think he can do a singular job well, which is not that insignificant to have on the bench, and we should have been having him on the bench more, I think. I didn't even notice that player got a knock. Oh, and Foe's back. Oh, he was just suspended for one match. We should have changed all this around before, by the way, as possible our AI might have played a match. I feel like we probably want this guy on the bench. Unfortunately, it's difficult to have this guy on the bench. I think this guy's good to come on when we're doing the long ball approach for the attacking midfield role, just because he's much better at goal scoring and he's fast enough. Anyway, I digress. It's academy trialists. I think his work rate was already up. Control is low. Passing is 43, which is not great. I think at this point we just want to move this guy out. 36. So we definitely want to move him out. And if there's other... I think we're okay to move this guy out ultimately if somebody's better. So there's at least one other, the one we want to, and at least one other we're willing to, if something's good there. So we'll just keep an eye out for that. This guy possibly. I mean, tackling is good. Marking is really good. Speed is good enough with that aerial ability anyway. This guy can probably come in. No, 9 passing. Think not. Just these pretty high, but it's stuff that sort of matters, but just key stuff like the strength is just too low. I think just speed is too low. With that kind of speed, we'd want him to be really good across the board in other stuff, and he's not. Don't use AMR, 20 speed, 27 speed, 33 tackling. Only 11 marking, but that's okay for the stopper role. All we really care about for that stopper role is probably more a bunch of stuff, but mostly the speed and the tackling, which he does have. So he could come in. He's probably the one that we want to bring in the most so far. Just tackling too far off, speed too far off. So I think we'll just pass on that guy. Don't use AMR, don't use AML, but he does have 60 speed. But I think we still pass. It's interesting because he's also got 59 work rate, 53 endurance. That stuff works really well together. But I just think in particular with the 6 passing, it makes it really difficult for us to use him anywhere. Only possible option basically is striker for us. So 1, would have to add a position, and 2, the finishing is ultimately going to have to be high, which is really late. I think we'll just pass on that guy, but he could make a very good AML for a different type of tactic. This guy's got 60 passing, which is great, but only 12 speed. So the thing is probably like it was one. Was this DC? I think we'll bring him in for this MC. Was it this guy? Nope, wrong one. What's this one? And we were sort of happy to get rid of this guy, but at this point I think we still just would rather probably just wait for the speed to come up than get another random guy in, just because the even though we're not think you'll work out, like key stuff like the speed is next, and then the aerial ability and the passing, they're all absolutely key, so we'll just wait on that. Scouter players, he's really well rounded. He is 4 million, but this is kind of the players that we're lacking. I mean, 59 overall, he'd probably be our best overall if we had him right. Yeah. Yeah, it's high. He could be the wide midfielder as well. The up and back role. We'd have to add a position, which isn't ideal. What does his training options look like? Obviously, it'd still be pretty good, but it doesn't make sense, I don't think, to get him to add a position at that age. I think it only makes sense if we're happy to use him in the position that he's got. He could be pretty useful, but I don't know. Just think we'll pass. I think ultimately, if we have to use him as a central defender, it's just like we're happy for this type of well-rounded thing, but the tackling is just a bit low. If it was like 70, maybe like 73 or whatever, like the speed, I think. I wasn't expecting to see this. So 81 tackling, really high. Passing and vision high. Aerial ability high. Speed good enough. Strength good enough. Long shots don't matter. I think we're just going to buy this guy. I think he just adds a lot of depth. I think we need a backup DMC. I think he's going to lose 3 work rate and 3 endurance. But ultimately, I think this guy, I mean, he probably will end up starting some matches, but mostly he's probably coming off the bench anyway. So this isn't too bad. And he does get an extra vision and an extra aerial ability. So I think we would go for this training option. We don't really care about the 2 crossing. The flare loss isn't a big deal. The work rate loss isn't a big deal. The aerial ability is. So like at 84, it's like would be one of the best players on the pitch at set pieces. I think we are just going to buy this guy. We're going to look through the rest of the players first, but I'm pretty sure we're just going to buy this guy. At the moment, it's possible we just miss out on promotion, and getting a player like this could just be the difference. Could be the difference maker. So we're happy. Plus, like, he could still be useful next season easily in Division 1 as a like a squad rotational piece, and maybe even the season after. So we get the full 3 seasons out of his contract, and yeah, he's got decent wages and he's got cost a decent fee, but ultimately, if he's the difference maker to end up getting promoted, like that money's insignificant compared to the difference in what you're going to make. So I think we're just going to buy him. I mean, got to be clear here, like things like 80, you know, when you're getting attributes into the 80s that are key attributes, that's rare. And then other key attributes that are all in the 70s, like I think this guy is just, we're often talking about that, yeah, we would buy him except, and in the case of this guy, there isn't really any except. It's like everything is kind of good enough. all significantly better than good enough. There isn't even a single attribute where you're like, yeah, the positioning is a bit low, sure. But to some degree, like the real bad combination is for DMC in particular, and for DC to a lesser degree, is just bad. But DMC in particular is bad positioning and bad speed, because like having more speed can sort of make up for the bad positioning to some degree. But when they're both bad, that's an issue. So his doesn't, I mean, 71 speed is not fast, especially not next season in Division 1, but it's not slow. This is a key, it's not slow. It is fast, I think, in Division 2, where we're at the moment, so he's going to be faster than average still. I think he's fine. I think we're just going to buy him. Know what we're saying, he's got some key stuff, like the 83 passing is a lot better, but yeah, I think he's just not significantly improvement or anything on what we've got. I think in particular the tackling's low, and he just doesn't have other stuff to make up for that. So by way of example, like, let's compare him to a player we've got to try to give a good example on this. Like this guy, like he's got lower tackling, but mind you, I think he's still higher than the other guy. But he's got things like 82 aerial ability, 78 speed, 78 long shots. He's got some key stuff to make up for that. Whereas this guy we were just looking at, one, he's got not an insignificant amount less tackling as well, but he also doesn't really have like really high aerial ability or speed or any, he's just decently rounded. I mean, this guy's super cheap, and he's like got some really nice stuff going on. Be pretty good as like some kind of central midfield playmaker, but just like, yeah, maybe in our first season, I think where we're at now, it just doesn't make sense. Even then, it's like, I don't know, it's just obviously with a player like this, it's hard. You just, once you have to add a position, it becomes hard. I think if he was already an MC, then maybe. But it's just hard to commit using like the position resource on an older player like that. And don't see any goal a game strikers for our youth squad there. This guy. Yeah, so I think it's just that DMC. We are just going to buy him because I think this is just a pretty special player, to be honest. Let's just get that guy. So now when we go to our senior squad, I think he can just be in instead of Bolger. Here. I don't know, he's pretty good. He's probably better than... that guy. Probably should just be starting instead of that guy. I don't know. Probably. This guy's also only got 11 endurance, so he kind of always needs to be subbed off. It's weird because now this guy could be the stopper. And the alright, let's do that. So I think Catania can now be the stopper, and then this guy, because he's just much more well-rounded than these other guys, I think he can play the more central, the cover. It's not ideal that he's a bit slower as a last line, but I think ultimately it's okay. He does have better marking and he has better passing and vision and stuff. I think, for example, this guy can be ball playing cover as well. No, can try that anyway. It's interesting. It's like a bit weird to have a ball playing cover and a deep line playmaker, to be honest. But not entirely. Not entirely. It's like it's a little bit weird, but ideally we'd play some friendlies to test it. Just really don't want this guy on the bench. This is the issue, but we'll make do. We need to get him some matches. So let's go to the auctions. We probably should have checked them before buying that guy, just in case now we're a little bit short to make a bid that is like critical. But oh well, what can you do? We've done it now. This guy could have been a difference maker for our youth team, but he's 22. I guess passing not quite good enough for our senior team. Yeah, we've looked at this guy a few times. Like, I think the issue is ultimately like that older guy we just bought is probably better for us than this guy. A lot cheaper. This could be like a good deep lying forward. Yeah, he's got the good tackling. It's the passing that's the weak link for this guy. Which is a shame because it's something we really trying to avoid doing for our wide midfielders. It's pretty exceptional speed, but another crazy. Oh, he can pass, which is good. Can sort of dribble. I don't know, this guy could be a consideration for us, but he is. He's got some decent stuff going on, to be honest. We could get this guy potentially. Let's look at his training options. So gets another strength, another 3 composure, another determination, another long shots, and 4 natural fitness. So he's still getting quite a bit better. He had been playing in the Masters League and effectively competitive. I'll just put the bid down for now. Because he is definitely, basically, he can be the more attacking role. I think he's definitely an improvement over this guy. So it's just a straight upgrade. He is just a straight upgrade. He's expensive though, he'll wipe us out cash wise, but we haven't really been finding a player we're happy with. So I feel like I mean, he ain't perfect. Ideally the strength would be higher. Yeah, I'm not sure about this bid, to be honest. Where are we at cash-wise? It is enough, like we can afford him obviously, but at that point we're just wiped out and we can't buy anybody else. I mean, this guy is kind of a weak link in the team at the moment. What's the other guy's endurance like? Because I think it does make a difference to us if he can just regularly last. No, so it's pretty low for this. He'd have to be subbed off every single match, which isn't ideal. We've already got multiple players in that boat. Right, I think we're just not going to make this bid. I think we're going to be more patient. Because basically at that type of money, we get to buy exactly one player. So, and it will just wipe us out the market from being able to bid for anybody else. And I think ultimately we're probably better off just picking up maybe, players like we just put, players just like this guy, just to improve our team directly. And, the financial outlay is small enough that it doesn't wipe us out from, like it could be a bit of a younger player or a bit different, a bit better, or whatever. We could pay like 3 million or something. It's totally different from paying like 14, 15, 16 million. For us, because we can still spend 2 or 3 and still have the money to be in the market for a player for towards 20 million. All right, and then the training. Right, I guess this guy. We do just want to sell that guy. I think we're trying to remember to do that now. We'll get to that. This was the player we just bought, so I think we were just saying we're going to lose the endurance and the work rate. And unfortunately, now he's starting. We were thinking he'd be a bench and it wouldn't matter, but whatever. Sissoko, he's typically is playing wide, but I think we just want the extra speed versus the 2 extra crossing. The extra tackling and extra dribbling and extra natural fitness versus a bunch of work rate for DMC. It's probably better to have those other things. This guy, it's this side for sure. Yeah, it's definitely this one. It's just generally better. There was only one that was high on the other side. 1 extra work rate I don't think equals all this other stuff. Gibbons. Alright, they're the same. So I don't think we want to get the extra dribbling at the expense of 2 endurance, so we'll take this one. Catania, don't care about the crossing, don't care about the movement, do care about the marking, do care about the determination. It's probably just this one, I guess, then. Because ultimately don't care about a lot of that stuff, but yeah, I mean, I guess in particular the crossing and the movement is almost irrelevant, but I do think it's an interesting one, because at this age, he's just moved to the stopper role, and that's looked like where he'd be playing, so the marking for that particular DC role becomes less important. He may end up switching back, but I don't know, probably the extra determination. He's playing every single match, so that can help him get a bit better training options for the next season. And I think in particular, he's still under contract until December, so that's not insignificant, that factor. In particular, I think the thing is, if we had him still in the cover role, we would have cared a lot more about the marking, which we did have all this time, up until 5 minutes ago, basically. Right, this guy, he's playing left midfield. I think we just want the speed at the end, but interestingly, this one does have the crossing, which is useful. The strength is useful. I think ultimately it's just going to be this one. This guy, we probably want the one with the extra tackling, but we'll just double check. The crossing doesn't matter, the vision does matter a bit, but we just want that extra tackling for him. We want the extra tackling probably. Let's just check them. This one does have extra determination, which is going to matter because he's playing every single game, but I don't think we can give up the 4 tackling. Palmai. So what's the question here? They're the same, so it's like, would you rather have 2 extra crossing or 2 extra flare? Don't know, to be honest. Probably the 2 extra flare, just because he's so fast and has the strength, so it's like... I don't know, you could argue this either way, it depends on the team and stuff. It's a tough one, especially when they're both reasonably well-rounded as they are. They're not, as a start point, if the crossing was super low, wouldn't matter so much. If the flare was super low, wouldn't matter so much. You go for the other one, but because they're both, I don't know, it's pretty close. I think on that basis, we'll just go for the flare because it's a bit higher. This guy, the aerial ability we care about. This one's just higher anyway, so let's just take this one. This is a keeper we just don't care about at all because we didn't buy him. Honestly, we just don't care. Let's just take the one with the more attribute points. Don't care about dribbling too much. Do you care about vision a bit? Don't care about flare. Care about determination a bit. Care about aerial ability. I don't know. I guess we'll just go with this one. Yeah, we'll go for this one. The marking doesn't matter, and that's the only thing that's higher on this side. Don't really want to lose the speed, so extra finishing matters. He plays up front mostly these days, or in central midfield, but yeah, it is this one because it's just a better option. And then Ben Yusuf, he wasn't even getting... Right, so he... extra passing, cool. Control, good. Positioning, doesn't matter too much. Work rate matters. I think is this one. The extra natural fitness is going to help as well. The agility wouldn't have been bad, but I think ultimately it's this one. So cool. Alright, so we've done our training options. I think that's the end of the day loop. So to get a player today, cheers. Yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.